Good morning, my beautiful friends. This is your wake up call with Maui Paul. I am Maui Paul. We are here today to say some nice things about ourselves. And quite a crowd here today. So, good morning, Shauna. Good morning, Lauren. Good morning, Dan. Good morning, Janet. It is wonderful to see you guys here today. Looks like Armando is here as well. Good morning. Good morning. If you're watching but you haven't left me a comment, just leave a comment so I can see that you're here. Be happy to greet you on this fine morning. And as so, this is indeed your wake up call with Maui Paul. I am Maui Paul, and we are here today to pull a card off the I am deck and to really to build into ourselves. Yesterday was quite the unexpectedly long and deep wake up call, and so let's see where this one takes us. It's always fun for me to just hang out with my friends and to just see where these where these conversations go. So, we're going to do the same thing that we did yesterday. I'm going to pull a card off the top of the deck. I'm going to ask you if you are the affirmation on the card, and we're going to respond out loud together. I am that affirmation. Now, I was working with my my physical deck. I was actually working with my physical deck last night, and just pulling cards at random and then saying the affirmations and really thinking about how they showed up in my life over the years, and I'm really excited that we can do a practice like that today. So yeah, let's have some fun. Let's pull a card off the top of the deck and say that today I am powerful. I am powerful. I wield my strengths with confidence. So I am powerful. I wield my strengths with confidence. Are you powerful? You are powerful. You wield your strengths with confidence. So I'm going to write that down in the chat that I am powerful. I wield my strengths with confidence. Jan is already beating me to it. So is Lauren. Good morning, Brenda Jean. Good to see you here today. Yeah, so we are powerful people. We wield strength with confidence. I remember that when I was younger, that I would get this actual rush of power to my head. I would physically feel it whenever I realized that I could kind of that I could get something over on somebody else. I mean, I remember it was a physical feeling happening inside of me. And that as I got older, I realized that power could be wielded a lot more effectively. That it could be wielded not to try to get something over on somebody else, but rather to manifest my own will and to build other people up. Like that power could be used for lots of different things, but that I could primarily use it for good. And so I'm kind of curious. When was the last time that you used a power that you have for good? When was the last time that you were in a position of power, in a position of authority, and you used it to be benevolent? You used it for the benevolent good of somebody else. Power is not necessarily about imposing our will on others who don't want it imposed upon them. Power is about using the things that we are strong at, about recognizing our own strength, about recognizing who we really are, and that wielding that strength, using that strength and wielding it with the confidence that comes from having wielded it before, having operated it before. And so I am powerful. I wield my strengths with confidence. And I chose this pretty big wave to symbolize that power. If you've ever been in the ocean and actually been and felt the sheer power of a big wave, or if you've ever surfed on a surfboard or a bodyboard or something and actually ridden a wave, it is a tremendous amount of power. I remember the first time that I ever caught a wave. I was with a professional surfer named Tony Roy, and Tony was a guy that I knew out on Oahu, and he was one of the people who had opened up the North Shore. So the North Shore is a very famous break up on the North Shore of Oahu. They still run surfing competitions there. The surf can get to be 40 feet tall. It's gigantic, and so I didn't know how to surf. He's like, hey, come on out. I'll show you how to surf. He took his surfboard and we went off and the waves were maybe 5 or 6 feet tall. They weren't huge, and he showed me how to catch a wave. And I remember the first time that I ever did catch that wave, that all of a sudden I felt this incredible rush of energy, because I was like, wow, this surfboard is moving. This surfboard is moving, and I'm on it. And if this wave doesn't stop, I felt like I was going to crash into the shore. I felt like if the wave that I was riding didn't stop, that it would just throw me onto the shore, and that I really didn't have any ability to do anything except ride that wave. I couldn't control that wave. All I could do was ride it. And I remember in that moment understanding, when he said, you never forget the first wave that you catch. And this guy was a professional big wave surfer. He made a living at it for many years. And so I remember that I remember that wave. I remember that feeling. I remember that rush. And the rush of power that I felt was not a rush of power in my own strength, but rather it was about being confident to be on that board, on that wave, knowing that wave was big right now, and it wasn't. The wave was maybe 4 feet tall, but the wave, that it felt so incredibly powerful. I mean, I remember looking at the wave, and I could see all the way down the ocean. I could see that the wave itself was miles long, and here I was riding one little part of it. So, and ultimately, the feeling that I felt, the rush that I felt, was not because I was controlling the wave, because I wasn't, but rather because I was controlling my little part of the wave, that I was controlling the way that I was riding the wave. I was controlling the surfboard. I was confident enough to I was actually just on my knees on the surfboard, and I was just kind of staying on top of it, just hanging on for the ride. And so I am powerful. I wield my strengths with confidence. And I'm really curious as to, like, when was the last time that you did something that you were that you are good at, that you recognize that you're strong at something, that you wielded it with confidence for the benevolent good of yourself, or for the benevolent good of somebody else. So let's see what you guys have to say about that. Let's see. So Shauna says, I'm powerful. Water is my favorite element. Good morning, Amanda. Looks like you've arrived today. Wonderful to see you. Janet says, I feel powerful when I'm actively evolving and creating myself and my life's journey. Yeah, absolutely. It's a pretty cool thing, huh? Life is just like a wave. It's gigantic. It's way bigger than we could ever control, although we like to delude ourselves and think that we're in control of our lives. The fact is that there's a whole lot of stuff that happens without our permission. And when that happens, ultimately it's our goal to just sort of like be surfing the much larger tides of life. Dan can leap small pebbles in a single bound. Yes, that is a very powerful thing to do, Dan. I too can leap small pebbles in a single bound, and have actually done it even yesterday. I just took them over in my stride. Let's see. So Amanda talks about power in relationships as one of her favorite topics. And I guess in a way, all relationships are some kind of a form of power exchange, because all relationships, if we're going to be in relationship with anybody, that we have to learn how to compromise. We have to learn how to consider the needs of somebody else, and to use our strengths to actively take care of their needs, which is very much a function of power. Good morning, Eric. Always good to see you here. Let's see here. Good morning, Armando. Thank you for the call to action for everybody to share this on your feed. I appreciate that. I do believe that these messages need to be are worth spreading around. And I was talking with a friend when TED Talks first came out. So I don't know if you guys remember, but there was a time in life before TED was a thing, and TED Talks came out, and I remember that I was chatting with a friend about it who had actually done a TED Talk, and TEDx had just come out. So TEDx was like the regional TED events, and he was talking about the dilution of ideas, and he was saying that ideas need to stand on their own merit, and he was saying that one of his biggest concerns with TED Talks was that TED Talks would become from ideas worth spreading to ideas capable of spreading. And this world is full of ideas that are capable of spreading, but aren't necessarily worth spreading. And one of my goals when I make the wake up call, and when I get on the internet and I broadcast, because this stuff has the ability to go far and wide, far further than I could ever intend it to. But one of my goals is always to make sure I'm speaking about things that are worth speaking about and worth sharing, rather than things that are simply capable of being shared. Janet says that she feels powerful when she thinks about her health journey. 200 plus pounds lost, and a lot of points of confidence gained and maintained for almost a decade now. I'm the strongest and healthiest I've ever been, and that feels powerful to me. How wonderful that is, Janet. It is wonderful to recognize our ability to manifest control over our physical bodies. To say, hey, I have power about what goes in my mouth. I have power over the exercise that I do. I have power over the way that I live, over the health choices that I make or don't make. And when we recognize that we have that power, when we recognize that we have that autonomy and that authority, we can do things that are healthy for us. One thing that I recognize, about you in particular, Jan, is that your health journey has been a methodical one. I recognize that you've made small changes and seen if they worked, and then made more small changes and more small changes. And so often people, especially in health things, will just make some radical change for a short period of time and then be disappointed when the results don't stick. Well, if the change doesn't stick, the results don't stick either. So, what you've done is so much more powerful. What you've done is small changes, and you've just stuck with them. And that's why you're down 200 plus pounds. And that's why you're so much more confident. And I'm really proud of you. You're doing a great job. Shauna said she recommended 2 folks for a promotion, and they got it. Awesome. That's really, really cool, Shauna. Isn't it great to know that not only do we have a good taste in people, that we recognize their inherent skills and abilities, but also that other people, that the people who are our, the people that we answer to in an organization also recognize that. I love it when people who I recommend for a job get a job, or people who I recommend for a promotion get a promotion. I think that's so cool. Good morning, Waleed. Wonderful to see you here today. Let's see here. Okay, Lauren says she felt powerful when she and accomplished when she worked with children, was able to make a big impact on them and their parents' lives. I've actually felt that joy myself, Lauren. When I was in Costa Rica, I worked with an organization called Seeds of Hope, and Seeds of Hope provided clubhouses basically for children who were in danger of being trafficked. And there's a whole lot of sadness to the specifics of of exactly what Seeds of Hope does, but there's so much empowerment there too. And I remember that one of the things that I did was I taught just a really basic class about money to basically just teach these kids, how do you handle money, and what are some of the basic concepts that underpin economic activity. So I taught them things like how you buy in bulk and save, or how do you shop around, or why is it that the little store in their little town is more expensive than the big store in the big town, and how can they plan in such a way that they can be efficient with their resources. And I had written the synopsis, I guess, or I forget what the word is, the syllabus. I'd written the syllabus for this little money program with with an idea that I would be teaching, basically just kids who are about 4 to 6 years old. And I remember the first time that I taught the class, I was teaching the kids about the things that literally you would teach a 4 to 6 year old about money, and the parents started taking notes. I remember the parents were getting all excited and taking notes. Nobody had ever taught them how to shop around. Nobody had ever told them that you can buy bigger stuff and save. Nobody had ever told them about unit pricing and how you could just make sure that whatever amount that you have can go a little bit further. But I remember that maybe 10 years after I had done this, I kept track of a lot of these people, via Facebook. And so they're still on my Facebook friends list. A lot of these kids are still on my Facebook friends list. And I remember that one day I got a Facebook notification that one of my friends had started a little like a little business, and I looked, and it was one of the girls from Costa Rica, and she had started this business selling baby clothes, and she was buying and reselling baby clothes on the internet. And I remember that I felt this incredible sense of pride because her grandmother had been a prostitute and her mother had been a prostitute, and she was on her way to being a prostitute as well, and now she's selling baby clothes. And there was that generational thing, that generational curse that was broken in her, that she was out there making a difference, and she was out there making a different choice than her mother and her grandmother did. She had different options available to her. She didn't have to sell her body the way that her mother did, the way that her grandmother did, and probably the way her great grandmother did as well. But she was able to make different choices because she was empowered with some of the information that I had given her, way back when she was a little girl, and it was incredibly powerful. Um, the fact is that if we can build into children that they have whole lives ahead of them in order to apply the building into that we do. So, and Lauren, a really, really beautiful thing that you did there. Let's see. Let's see. Armando says that sharing is powerful, actions are powerful, words are powerful, sentences are powerful, purpose is powerful. Yeah, that last one in particular, purpose is powerful. People are interested in joining in with somebody who knows where they're going. Leadership is a rarefied trait. Leadership is so rare that leaders get paid tremendous amounts of money. But what do leaders really do? What do they provide? Leaders provide vision. Leaders provide direction. A leader's first job is to define reality, and a leader's last job is to say thank you. The first job of a leader is to provide a direction to go, is to define what reality looks like, and that's such a rarefied thing. In order to do that, they have to have purpose. A leader has to understand why that they're doing something before the how becomes even remotely relevant. Before defining reality becomes relevant, first we must choose to choose some values so that we know how reality ought to be built. And then the very last job of a leader, of course, is to say thank you, because in the process of leadership, in the process of building anything, all leaders become servants and debtors to the people who follow them. And so that purpose, that very powerful purpose that all leaders exhibit is incredibly valuable and rare. As we understand who we are, as we continue to go through these affirmations, as we continue to recognize our own inherent power, our own inherent strength, and as we continue to wield with that stuff with confidence, we become leaders in our own right, and we end up defining reality for those people who are around us too. Good morning, Maria. Maria says that she feels powerful when she uplifts others and sees them to start believing in themselves. And I know exactly what you mean. This whole show is about doing that. I've been reading my old journals recently, and this is what I'm doing right now is something that I've been dreaming of doing since about 2013 to 2014, something like that. And it's just so cool to see this coming into fruition. I was actually reading a meditation that I wrote back in 2015 about my perfect day. And in my perfect day, I was wearing a red jacquard robe with a quilted shawl collar. I wrote about this in 2015. Well, guess what? Guess what I'm wearing literally right now? Words are very powerful, just like Armando said. And when I wrote that down, I had no idea how it was going to happen. But I do indeed wear that exact thing. And I do indeed hang around with it in it as often as possible. Let's see. Yeah. Janet says that the impact continues to ripple through those families and all you meet, and the children are that you influenced forever. It's so true. I believe, one of my core spiritual beliefs is that I'm inherently a spiritual being, that I'm having a physical experience, that this body right here is a physical thing, but that inherently there's a part of me that was there's a part of me that is eternal. This is my personal spiritual belief, is that there's a part of me that's eternal, and that I'm naked when I come into this world, and I'm naked when I leave this world, And all the stuff that I work for, all the things that I own, all the titles that I attain, all of the honorifics that people give to me, all of the accomplishments that I have in life, all of that stuff will eventually be forgotten. All of the things that I own will eventually be given to somebody else who did not work for them. And so what's the point? What is it that is eternal in my life? And I believe that the thing that is eternal, the most important thing, is the love that we give to other people, the love that we share, because that love ripples through humanity forever. The way that we positively influence other people to live better lives ripples forever. The girl that I was talking about who set up a store selling baby clothes, I have no idea if she's still selling baby clothes. I have no idea what she's doing in life. But she can never, ever go back to being the person who didn't give that a shot. And whether it was successful for her or whether she ended up doing something else, the fact is that life experience is something that she can pass on to her children, that she can be the person who at one point in her life had an online business, and she gets to go through her entire life with that experience, and that she gets to share that with her children, and that the people, her peers, as she did that, got to experience that also, got to experience and say to themselves, wow, if she can do it, maybe I can do it too. And so love amplifies, love continues. Love doesn't just it doesn't just have a ripple effect, it has a wave effect. It is incredibly powerful, and it is eternal. It never ever dies. And so even though I'm only here for a very short period of time, and even though the stuff that I have will one day go to somebody else, and the accomplishments that I achieve will eventually be completely forgotten, and the ideas that I put forth will eventually be taken by somebody else, and they'll take credit for those ideas. Even though all this stuff is true, the love that I put out into the world, the love that you put out into the world, is incredibly, incredibly powerful. It is eternal. It never goes away because it lives on in the hearts of people who live after we live, who are going to be alive after we have passed on. And that is so incredibly important. I think that's probably one of the core things about my message, is to recognize that the love we put into the world, when we build other people up, has ripples forever. So yeah, so thank you for pointing that out, Janet. And as somebody who has worked in early childhood education like you have, and not just that, I know you've worked in special needs education as well. Like, I know that you know the sheer power that you have to influence a child's life, to influence the course of their life for so many years to come. Let's see. Yeah, and Maria talks about the metaphor throwing a pebble in a pond and watching the ripples. The pebble that Dan is able to step over. Yeah, that tiny little pebble that seems so insignificant, it really does make ripples. And even if it's just a tiny pebble, if it's in still water, you can see the ripple effect for hundreds of yards away. I actually used to live next to a pond, and sometimes the pond would be really still, and I would just kind of like I would throw a little rock in the pond, and I would watch the ripples, and the ripples would make it all the way to the shore, even if the pebble itself was just teeny tiny. The ripples would still come all the way back to me. Uh, all right, so looks like let's see. It looks like that's about it for the comments right now. I've been going for about 30 minutes. I love y'all, but I got other stuff to do, and I know that you do too. Thank you guys so very much for being here. Thank you for attending yet another awesome wake up call. These things are powerful in my life, and I really appreciate the opportunity to be able to do this. So thank you so much. The wake up call for me is very life giving, and helps to me to set myself up for success every single day. Remember that you are powerful. Remember that you are strong. Remember that you have strengths and that you have in the past wielded them with confidence. Meditate on that today. Understand that you and you alone are capable of achieving the dreams that are inside of your heart, and get on it. Start at it today. Move forward in them in some small way, because as we do this thing, as we gain that momentum, as we intentionally move in the direction of the things that are most important to us, that the universe itself comes into alignment, in the same way that when we hop onto a wave, we don't hop onto all the wave, we only hop onto a very small part of the wave, but then we become a part of it. we become carried by it. In that same way, let's wield our strengths today. Let's lean into our experiences, and let's wield them with confidence. Let's understand that we have the ability to do hard things, and we can just do them one step at a time. If other people can do hard stuff, we can do hard stuff too. And so therefore, let's make sure that as we're good living our lives today, that we are living our lives in a big way, that we are doing big things, and that we are doing them one small step at a time. My friends, I love you and I care about you, and I believe that this stuff is true. I believe it's true for you, just like I've seen it to be true for me in my life. In the same way that I'm capable of manifesting the exact thing that I desire, so too are you. And so recognize your strengths, recognize your power, recognize when you have authority, and be benevolent with that authority. Use that authority to love and to serve others, to define reality, and at the end, to say thank you to the people who have come along with you for the ride. Because in the end, we accomplish more together than we could ever accomplish alone. I'll talk to you tomorrow at 9 a.m. We'll go through yet another card, have another wake up call. Until then, once again, I love you. I care about you. I think that you're amazing. And aloha from paradise.